At the Academy Award and many other sites, Amundsen Theater, Pantages Theater, Shrines Auditorium. Finally, they decided to bring it back to the historical block now that we have billions of networks. ABC Networks is also owned by Disney. We have a subway entrance to Hollywood Highland structure, and then we have the Hollywood Gate. You can look through the gate and tell me what you see, which was designed specifically so you see the Hollywood sign right through the gate. You see that? Right there is the Hollywood sign. This is the most attended block by tourists in California. As a result, they have that so you can see it right through there. And of course, El Capitan Theater, and on the right-hand side, you have the Kodak Theater, now known as Dolby Theater. And the Hollywood Highland has lots of shops and restaurants. And then, of course, Mr. Grumman, after building the Egyptian Theater, he came and built the Chinese Grumman Theater. Chinese Grumman Theater is in the shape of a Chinese temple. And once he built that with the huge opening in the front, in order to have premieres, the movie industry started having premieres here. Again, Mr. Grumman very cleverly decided, if I have Clark Gable, Audrey Hepburn, all these famous names coming to my theater for premiere of the movies, he asked them to sign their autographs on the cement and put their hand or feet impressions. So now we have 280 impressions of the very top performers: Clark Gable, Audrey Hepburn, John Wayne, Richard Burton, Elizabeth Taylor, all the top names that have visited this Chinese Grumman Theater for the premiere of their movies. They've been asked to put their hand impressions on the cement and signature. Next to the left of the Chinese Grumman Theater, along with Queen Latifah. And you have the Madame Tussauds Museum, and of course across the street you have the Roosevelt Hotel, the first historical site of the Academy Awards. On the left entrance of the Roosevelt Hotel, you have a placard on the wall commemorating Charlie Chaplin, the pioneer and the genius of the movie industry. Charlie Chaplin wrote his own scripts, he acted in the films, he directed movies, and it was downtown LA, a tiny little town, and the town did not grow for 350 years because we don't have water here. There is no river here. It hardly rains for sometimes 4, 5, 6 months go by before we get any rain. So obviously the city could not accommodate their growth, and the city did not grow until early 1900s. Finally, when the word got around, and ski, then come back and go to the beach. And we have a dramatically very unusual but beautiful climate in Southern California. Right here, I will pull out on the Lookout Mountain and give you a chance to get out the bus and look at the wonderful view of the city of LA and Beverly Hills and Hollywood.
downtown చూసారు డౌన్టౌన్
How do you zoom in? Zoom in on me. Yeah, I can try it. They're running around.
To get your car down to the garage.
Oh my God.
Okay, I mentioned Drew Barrymore's home on top of the hill. You can see the home from US 101, from where the Hollywood Bowl is, from Mulholland Highway, and all the streets around here. So she doesn't have any privacy. You will see the house at the edge of the cliff. Drew Barrymore was the child actress in Eat. Right there on top, you will see the Drew Barrymore's home. And as we go down the hill, Remember, we're leaving Hollywood Hills, but remember Hollywood Hills, Beverly Hills, Holmesby Hills, Malibu, they have lots of celebrities living there, but the celebrities are only 3 or 4% of the population. So not every big, beautiful home you see belongs to a celebrity. By the same token, you have lawyers, surgeons, real estate owners, corporate owners, oil people, foreign rich people, lots of people own properties here that are big and beautiful. And also, occasionally, I will identify a property as a celebrity home, and all you will see is trees and shrubs and nothing else. Celebrities love their privacy. They'll grab it when they can. A good example, when I make a stop sign right, when I make a stop at the sign right here, on the left corner is Charlize Theron's home. And as you can see, nothing to be seen except trees and shrubs unless Charlize comes out and waves at us, which she seldom does. And at the opposite end of the pole, we have the actor from the TV show Matrix. He lives in this peach house, and you can see all 3 sides of his home. No privacy there, so it all depends. After the silent era, the movies that were silent, the sound movies came about. The 2 most popular subjects were horror shows and westerns, both pure westerns as well as cowboy Indians. And one studio made 3 movies about Dracula. You had Dracula, Frankenstein, King Kong, those kinds of movies. One studio made 3 movies on Dracula, and they used Bela Lugosi as the main actor, but he had an obsession about the Dracula role. He came home from studios without moving or removing his makeup and outfit, and he had a coffin on the 2nd level of his home where he slept in it, and he also installed 2 gargoyle statues on top of the entry of his home. And he explained the whole thing. He wanted to stay in the mood of the Dracula so he can do a better acting job. Right here is the home with the gargoyle statues and the 2nd level where he had the coffin. I think deep down psychologically, he just had the delusion of being a Dracula, or possibly the desire of becoming one. So much for human psychology. That's Bela Lugosi's home. And then in Hollywood, nowadays, to make it big, you have to be multi-talented. It's not good enough just to sing like Frank Sinatra. You have to be like Michael Jackson, Lady Gaga, Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, not only a great singer, but a great dancer and performer and so on. At the opposite end of the pole, you have some people in Hollywood that are famous for the sake of fame, not because of any talents. Good examples, Kardashian, Paris Hilton, and we have Lionel Richie's daughter, Nicole Richie. All she did was hang around with Paris Hilton all the time. They were together everywhere, and when they gave him a reality show, she was right there acting with her. She finally made some money, and she moved out of her parents' home and bought a small home right here in Hollywood Hills, which I will show you. And she didn't do anything before that reality show, and she hasn't done anything ever since. So right there, that driveway with the black SUV in it, that's Nicole Richie's Hollywood Hills home, and 2051.
Okay, I'm recording all your comments. Is that okay?
Pardon me?
I'm recording all your
That's
comments.
fine.
Is that okay?
I will charge you $1,000 royalty per minute.
Okay.
Okay, and then of course everybody comes to Hollywood to make it big. As you know, very, very few people make it big. However, the 2 or 3% just make a living at it, and the other 97-98% have to move on and do something completely different. However, 100% of all those who come here, they have to make a living. They have to pay their rent, they have to eat. And right here is Bob Barker's home, the White Home. He hosted the daytime TV show Price is Right for 35 years before he retired. And Drew Carey took over. When they had the 40th anniversary, they didn't invite Bob Carey. Sometimes I don't understand the show business. But anyway, 100% of those who come to Hollywood with aspirations, they need to work, make a living, pay their rent. 25 years ago, we had a young man come into town with great aspirations to become a real good actor. but in the meantime, he had to pay his rent. So he looked around for a job. There was a new chain of restaurants in LA called El Pollo Loco. In Spanish, El Pollo Loco means crazy chicken. So he went to El Pollo Loco by La Brea and Sunset and asked for a job. They hired him, they gave him a chicken outfit, they asked him to stand in the corner, sandwich and quality, and also on top of the gazebo, we have a small bronze statue of Marilyn Monroe, where with her iconic poster shot, she was on a subway vent, her dress blew up, that picture became the hottest selling poster shot around the world. So they have that statue on top of the gazebo. And next to the gazebo, you have the Beatles and Elvis Presley stars. So the beginning of the Hollywood Walk of Fame with the 4 women of Hollywood and Elvis Presley and Beatles. Back to Brad Pitt's story, as well as that house was used to make it look like it was on Malibu Beach by the ocean. Obviously, they used special effects. You'll see the sign again, the house again as I cross the street, right there. And on the left-hand side, we have the Hollywood, we have the ride the mechanical bull free. Across the street, we have Sunset Tower Hotel, where they host the After Academy Award party for Vanity Fair every year, as well as there's a legend that John Wayne stayed there. When he did, he demanded to be served fresh milk every day. So they had to bring in a cow to the penthouse level so they could serve him fresh milk every day. How much of a truth to that story, I have no idea. It's a legend. And right here we have Hollywood Hyatt Hotel. Now it's called Andaz Hotel, managed by Hyatt. It had a reputation for being the riot house. That's why you have RH on the column. Notice the other tour guides go right by and they don't tell you about all these things. But anyway, the reason it was riot house or crazy house is in the old days when rock and roll bands went on long tours in their own buses, they came back seeing Shirley Temple's movies. I highly encourage you to rent or download one and see it, and you'll see why she won the heart of the entire world, not just US. She lived as an adult in this immaculately kept and landscaped home, right here with the shrubs and the 2 gates with lights on it. That's Shirley Temple's home as an adult. And it's a brick home. They don't build brick homes anymore in Southern California because they don't do too well in earthquakes. But that's Shirley Temple's residence. And they also don't build cedar shake roofs anymore either. They don't do too well on fires. Her more modern neighbor is Tom Cruise. He lives on that top White House, not the one in front that was just built. That's Tom Cruise's current residence. I'll go forward. You can see the property a little bit more through the trees, opening of the trees. And that's his current home, but he may not live there long because that's a part of the divorce settlement. So it may end up to be Katie Holmes' home. The property is down and they're going to build a new home. So all the Rat Pack histories of Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop, and Dean Martin in this home are long gone. Have no chance. And right here in front of us, we have a very typical street in Beverly Hills. Beautiful old uniform trees on both sides, well-maintained, clean streets, mansions on both sides. But this is not a street you will see in TV shows and movies. Why? It could be Atlanta, Chicago, Montreal. The streets they show on TV shows and movies are the streets with palm trees. So you know it's Beverly Hills and Southern California. A good example is Beverly Drive on the left-hand side at the light. And when Beverly Hills Hillbillies discovered black gold in Texas, they came to live in Beverly Hills, and they drove their clunker right through that street in Beverly Drive on the left-hand side. So because it's lined with palm trees, and you know they're talking about Beverly Hills. So that was where that clip was shot in. And on the right-hand Hills, and right after President left, they had a fund, and he started a major construction here. So I don't know what he's building, possibly larger corridors for the caterers for future parties. Everybody's familiar with the Guess name. There is no such thing as a designer named Guess. It's a corporate name. They license it to different manufacturers to put out products under their name. But every time you buy Guess jeans, you make a man in this home very happy because he owns this home and he owns the Guess corporate name. He used to have a bench there with Abe Lincoln sitting on it, but they removed it. I don't know what he did with it. And then we have the historical home of Ronald Reagan right here. He lived here when he was married to Jane Wyman, and his children were born here. This house was also used to film the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith. You
okay.
can
This was the
recognize the
home.
columns and the white home. And Ronald Reagan lived in this home before he was the governor of California, and he was Hollywood. There is no such thing as City of Hollywood. It's a neighborhood named Hollywood. They have the same mayor and police and fire department as LA. However, Hollywood worldwide is more well known than Los Angeles is. So many years ago, 35, 40 years ago, many foreigners bought properties in US. LA had its fair share. Saudi Prince bought a giant property in Sunset Boulevard, spent several $1 million on it. Later on, it got destroyed by fire. It was empty for 15 years. The Persian developer split it into two, built two homes, one to live in and one to sell. And right here is the Sultan of Brunei's Beverly Hills Hotel. The lounge by the pool rent for $3,000 a night. The presidential suite inside rents for $5,000 a night. And they spend millions of dollars renovating the hotel, even though on the outside it looks the same. Lots of celebrities, heads of state have stayed here. And also, in the old days, the powerful studios would house their famous actresses here when they were filming high-budget films. So Elizabeth Taylor would be staying here if she filmed Cleopatra. That right there is the main entrance of the Hollywood Hotel. We'll be making a right turn here. You'll see it a little bit more. And they have a famous polo lounge in Beverly Hills Hotel. You can go there, open to public, have drinks for $18, $20 a piece, as well as feel a part of history. Lots of heads of states and celebrities have gone there. And the dress codes have been relaxed in all the fancy places because the new billionaire got away with it because he was Johnny Carson. You and I would not have gotten away with it. So right here, the famous Beverly Hills Hotel with lots of history, owned by Sultan of Brunei. Brunei is a small country by Singapore and Thailand, oil rich, and so is the Sultan. The exit gate is right on this corner. Everybody's familiar with Lucille Ball. In fact, everybody loves Lucy. She had a black and white show, I Love Lucy, that to this day they have the reruns of. And it's shown all over the world because it's very animated. You don't have to understand Columbo's, the confused detective. As you can see, he was anything but confused detective. If he could afford this home in Beverly Hills with the lemon tree on the side of his home. And then we have Madonna's second very old but very elegant home on the left-hand side. Behind these trees, you can hardly see anything of the house behind the trees, including when the gate is open. This is Madonna's second home. She sold it to Diane Keaton, and she now lives by the beach in Malibu, oceanfront home. Then we have the Gershwins, the famous composer of Broadway plays and movies, lived in this home 1019 on the left-hand side. They just remodeled that home to make it look like a new home, but notice the pedestrian entrance with water fountain. They lived there several decades. And then we have Agnes Moorehead's home right here, a house with 1 million lights. At nighttime it looks beautiful. If you don't recognize Agnes Moorehead, she was the mother of the Bewitched, or the mother of the witch in the show Bewitched, the black and white show that they have the reruns of it to this day. If you're in a successful TV show with lots of reruns, all the actors make a lot of money because they get residual every time they show the rerun the show. We will make a right turn into Benedict Canyon. Charlie Chaplin lived in Benedict Canyon in the 50s. He already made his iconic movies. He was a multi-millionaire U.S. citizen and loved U.S. However, the 50s coincided with McCarthyism era. We had Senator McCarthy in U.S. Senate, had hearings, and would accuse people of being communist and communist sympathizers. They asked Ronald Reagan the crack to pay for designer dresses. But on the way back, she had 2 shopping bags full. She showed it off to those same salespeople, letting them know how much commission they lost. They've spent $100 million renovating that hotel, even though on the outside it looks the same. And they have very beautiful ornate design on the outside. They also have a lounge and lobby there. You can take pictures there, feel a part of the history. Prince Charles, Princess Diana stayed there. And Tiffany & Company is in this corner, the fourth of the power. And he's leaning on Charlie Chaplin's cane. That whole thing sends a message: we owe it all to you. The Hollywood community is very fond of Charlie Chaplin. They have a great regards for him. After all, they imitated him for the next 45, 50 years. So that's the old studio of Charlie Chaplin, 2 blocks long that way and a block long this way.